Hi Flosstube! Welcome to my very first Flosstube video. My name is Tanya and my YouTube channel is This Little Kitten Stitches. For my first Flosstube video, I figured why not start off with a whip parade and finish off with a couple FFOs. So I'm just going to get right into it. Disclaimer, my puppies don't like being locked out of my room, so they're quite noisy, and if they're in here, they're jumping all over me because they think I'm talking to them and not the camera. So let's get started. My very first one on top of the pile, not any specific order, is the Doggy Juice Shop, and that is by Simina Stitch Studio. I'm pretty much all but two of my patterns that I have to show today. I got them on Etsy. Just FYI, this one is on 18 count Ada that I got at Michael's, and I dyed it myself. This is my first dye job. I quite like it. And it is 2/1 full cross. I am 25% complete of this pattern. So there it is. And the needle minder, all my needle minders I usually just make myself with an enamel pin that I've gotten on a random website. So there's that. Next, I have what I call a mini. So this is part of a set I bought. This is the Nightmare Before Christmas set that I got on So Koi Felt on Etsy. It comes with several different Nightmare Before Christmas characters, and I'm just going to work on Jack, Sally, Zero, and Oogie Boogie, and they're going to be Christmas ornaments. Never too early to start the Christmas stitching. Halloween stitching? And this is just on a 14 count Ada from Michael's on an off-white color, and a little Zero needle minder. So I will leave them in here. And I use a mix of Q-snaps and nerd hoops. I want to try a scroll frame, but they're kind of expensive, and I don't have a stand. I stitch in hand. So my next pattern, or my next whip, is the Witchy Temperature Chart by Simina Stitch Studio. And I am 25% done. I mean, I can only be as done as there are days. I try to work on it 2 or 3 times a week so that I keep up to date on it, because it would suck to get behind. I love my little needle minder. I like to try to match my needle minders to the project, so I think this one works very well. This is just a black 18 count Ada that I got as a Christmas gift. I think it was from Amazon. And that's 2/1 full cross. Next is, this is Haunted Store by Cross Stitch Curiosity, and I am 13% complete. This is 20 count pre-gridded Zweigart, and it is 2/1 tent stitch, and I am 13% done, and I really actually only started this one within the last month, so it's kind of nice to work on projects that are just 10 stitch and you really see some progress quite quickly. Alright, next. This is the Game Sampler by Screaming Heart Designs, and I am 26% done. This is on a 14 count white Ada that I got at Michael's, and I gridded it myself with Heat Away pen. I'm enjoying this one a lot. Right, next, this is the Girl Wizard School Fandom by Maya Stitch on Etsy, and I am 40% done. She's kind of been on the back burner. Kind of when you're just doing yellows and greens and blacks, it got a little bit boring, and I had to restart because I messed up. And this is kind of the project that made me rely more on grids. I find if you have a grid, you're basing your stitches off the grid more than just your last stitches. So if you're not gridded and you're basing your stitches off one stitch and it's wrong, then every stitch that you've done after that is kind of going to be messed up. So that's why I like grids now. So I'm a gridaholic, but I'll get her finished one day. It's just the pattern on pattern keeper is a bit wonky. It didn't import very nicely, so kind of makes it a bit of a pain to do. Next, I have my Art Nouveau Fox by Needle Lot Designs. And this one's 75% done. When I get close to a finish, around the 75% mark, I tend to really hyper-focus on the project because I know I'm so close, even though really there's still a lot of stitches left. I'm really happy with this one. It is on 18 count Aida from Michaels and just like a burlap fabric. I had this as a scrap as a leftover from another project, so I'll be really happy when this one's done. Let's start with this one. This one is my travel whip. So I like to keep in this teeny tiny bag, and I use a teeny tiny hoop. So wherever I am, I can stitch. So you can't see too much of it. Yes, those are paper clips holding it closed because that's what I had in my office to keep my fabric in. This is the Book of Warrior Queens by Haunted Frames. And you'll see another one of her patterns as an FFO. So yes, I want to do all of her Haunted Frames or her book patterns. And hope she never stops making them, and I'll just have a full wall of these cross stitch patterns. This one is 28% complete. It is on a printed 14 count Aida from Michaels. Yeah, and did I say that it is 28% complete? Very happy with that. And my last whip, this is the Mini Treasure Hunt by Amy Stewart. It is a Heaven and Earth design. It is on a light gray 20 count Zweigart, and I am doing it 2/1/10 stitch so that it goes quickly because it's already a huge project. And I'm only 1.45% done. Little story time. This was kind of like my first big project that I started. And the first time I started it, I was on a 20 count pre-gridded fabric that I actually used for my haunted store pattern. And I decided I didn't like that at full cross. So I thought I'll try like a 28 count. Maybe that'll be, single. I hated the 28 count. No, 25 count it was. It was 25 count fabric. Hated it. Then I thought maybe if I go a little bigger, 22 count. And around that time, I discovered tent stitching. So I thought tent stitch at 22 count would look nice. Didn't like it. And then I went back to the 20 count. So I am enjoying this, other than I'm not a fan of all the confetti. But when I am in the mood to do this one, I have it. So, it might be a long-term passion project. So we'll see how long this one takes me. I'm going to guess 5 years. And I somehow want to do all of her bookshelf aids. We'll see. And that is all for my... Wait, almost forgot. I put this one on the floor because it was too big for my desk. And yes, this is a huge piece of fabric. Don't ask me how big it is. This is the Pokemon First Generation Spectrum. It was on a Reddit post. Not too sure who designed it, but I'll try to link it below. I am doing it on an 18 count white fabric, and I am doing it 10 stitch, but I was doing it 3/1/10 stitch, and I enjoy that, other than I don't feel maybe there's not enough coverage, so I tried doing 4, but I felt that was too difficult to get. It made it too tight, and I wasn't enjoying stitching that, even though the coverage was a lot nicer. So this has kind of been on hold until I can decide what I want to do, or maybe I'll try to actually fill in a full color here just to see how the coverage actually is with the 3, and maybe I'm just because it's black on white, it looks a little less full. So yeah, that's if you got any comments or suggestions, post a comment down below. But this is also another passion project. Self-gridding this one was a joy. Ha! Now officially to the FFOs. So my first FFO, don't judge, it's awful. This was my very first cross stitch I did, because I wanted to see if I would enjoy cross stitch, and I did. And then I finished it, and I should have watched some YouTube tutorials because it's awful. It's loose. The backing sucks. I might try to fix it, but I glued it in with fabric glue because I also do a lot of sewing, so I'm like, I have fabric glue. Why buy something else? It's awful. But you live and learn, you know. It is what it is. I'll keep this one for nostalgia's sake. Next, I have my kitty cat Timon. A YouTube video how to finish this, so that's why this one looks a lot nicer. This one is let me look it up, Tabby Cat, and it's by Zara Design Studio. I also have another one of her patterns, Reading Because Murder Is Wrong, and it is finished, but it's at my work right now, and I did that on a black background. I'll try to post a picture, but no promises. I don't edit very well. So there's this one. My next one is Book of the Frost Dragons by Haunted Frames. And this is on 14 count printed Ada, just from Michaels. So that's the one and only one I have complete. And I can't wait to have the rest of them. And my last one, my fully finished, my most favorite, and my biggest, is the Supernatural Sal by Witchy Stitcher Studios. I finished this one earlier this year, and I frame it myself. It's 18 count, full cross, 2/1 stitches. And I do believe I used all DMC for this one, so I'm so happy with this one. That's all. I'm also doing Whip Go, and I have finished everything for January, February, and March. My April whip goes are basically, I don't have enough whips to have 25 separate, so I did some other random goals, like random pick for 5 days. Well, if you know, April, the 2 days that were picked were both pick random projects for 5 days, and we're going to pick a random project for 10 days. So I got 15 days of random projects to work on, and I usually work about an hour or two every night, and that's about, 200 stitches, just depending if it's full cross or tent. And that's really the only other goals that I have. I tend to just stitch however I feel like, because of course cross stitching is supposed to be for fun, and if it's not fun, then why do it? So anyways, please like and subscribe, and I will try to post every 2 weeks some updates on my progress and if I've got anything new. Next time I might show you all of my UFOs. There's not many, but they're there. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye! I better get those babies.